Hey, what's up guys, YouTube here, back with another video. And finally they released some information about the TCG exclusives in Cosmo Blazer. So basically these spaces down here were empty for a long time, but from a couple of sources I've managed to gather the list, not all of the effects of the monsters on the list, but certainly the names of most of the monsters and some of the effects. So, the first two cards that were released on the Konami webpage were Bonfire Colossus and a card called Kickfire, so I'm going to go over those now. So, Bonfire Colossus is a level 8 Beast Warrior, 2600 attack, 2200 defense, fire of course. If you control a fire monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and when this card is special summoned, target 2 fire monsters you control and destroy those targets. It reminds me a lot of Goku the Pyre of Malice, which is why I'm talking about it. It's a Beast Warrior, which means, of course, that it can be pulled out of the deck with Onslaught of the Fire Kings. However, it's level 8, which means that it doesn't really synergize with much of the deck, apart from perhaps Garnix himself, who was level 8. So you could overlay into some monster, you know, like Heliopolis or something like that. I don't really know. But there are some examples where, you know, he'd be useful. Obviously, if you were kindling your monsters back and then you destroy them with his effect, you would, of course, be able to plus off the effects of the monsters, and you would get a level 8 beater on the field. So there's definitely some uses to that. He also combines quite well with the other exclusive that they released, which motivates the reason why they released it so early. Kickfire. So once per turn, when a face of fire monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, you place one counter on this card for each destroyed fire monster. During either player's standby phase, you can send this card to the graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent for each counter on this card. So it is a quick way to do some burn damage to your opponent during their standby phase. Unless they have an MST in the draw phase, you are going to be sending this card to the graveyard, and you are going to be dealing them some damage. So it's actually quite good. If you can find a way, someone's going to find a way to break this card. They're going to find a way to send a bunch of fire monsters in a big loop over and over again, and with multiple kickfires, and just wipe out your opponent, basically. Crimson Sunbird is a joke. It's just some stupid level 6 fusion monster, so we're going to ignore that. 2 Blackwing cards, both of which are kind of crap. This guy uses, you send discard a card to increase a Blackwing monster's attack by 500, and Gladius the Midnight Sun isn't as bad. So the only face-up monster you control is a Blackwing monster. You can special summon from your hand, and once per turn you can be destroyed by battle. So it's not too shabby. Although most of the Blackwing monsters are level 4, and you wouldn't really synergize with many of them at all. The most you'd be able to do is sink into stuff. Next we have Sacred Knight Joan. I can only really imagine this being useful in Elemental Hero decks. So if it attacks, it loses 300 attack during the damage step, which is kind of shit. And when he's destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to target one level 4 or lower warrior type monster in your grave and add it to your hand. So she looks cool, but unfortunately her effect isn't as cool because you're going to -1 off the effect unless you happen to add a Stratos back to your hand, which is actually quite likely in actual fact. Next of all we have a card called Crimson Blazer, who I quite like as well. So he's a level 8 generic synchro, 2800 attack, 2600 defense. And if he destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, your opponent cannot normal or special summon level 5 or higher monsters during their next turn. Which means, against the likes of Heretic Dragons and Chaos Dragons respectively, it would be an extremely useful side. Why would you side extra deck monsters? Well, I mean, they could actually win you games and save your ass. So why not try it? So that was Crimson Blazer. So Ignition Beast Volcanon. I looked at this guy first of all and I thought, this guy isn't actually that good at all. But with so many cards that enable you to fusion summon machine type monsters, I thought he wasn't actually nearly as bad as I originally considered. So if anyone think of an easy way to fusion summon him, please let me know. So when he's fusion summoned, you can target one monster your opponent controls, you destroy it, and you also destroy him. And then if both monsters were destroyed, you inflict damage equal to the monster's attack that you destroyed. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of like a Ring of Destruction effect for your opponent. You just bring him out. You bring this guy onto the field. If you can bring him out easily, it would be better. If you're minusing off the effect, then it's probably not so good. I'm pretty sure someone's going to find a way to break the deck, like that chain card. I can't remember the name of it, where you use Elemental Hero cards to constantly put the fusion materials back into the deck. Chain material. There we go. Anyway, Infernally Archer. So he's level 6, Dark Fiend, of course. While you have no cards in your hand, he can attack your opponent directly. Kind of interesting, although I don't know why you'd waste a tribute on bringing him out. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But this isn't the only source of the exclusives that I have. So I've also been looking around on other various websites. And I have found on this website, which it's called supersolenoid.blog63.fc2.com. Of course, they're just extensions of the original URL. But anyway, it has the full list of the cards, except it doesn't have the effects. So We have another Noble Knight monster, Noble Knight Maradrout. We have another, what I presume is a Haze Beast, because it says Hazy Flame Manticore. We have another Mermail monster, which is kind of exciting for me, Mermail Abyssteus. We have a card called Mystic Fairy Elfuria, which probably supports some of the light archetype in general. We have Artorigus, King of the Noble Knights. We have Demon of the Eternal Flame, and we have a card called Spell Wall. So, I don't know what any of these cards do, but if anyone does find any more information, please let me know. That is the extent of the information that I can give you guys. I also looked on the official thread regarding Mermail Abyssteus, and it was actually leaked from a Spanish sneak peek poster. So, it is also based on some creature called a Dunkleosteus, or however the hell you pronounce that. So that's something that's worth noting, I suppose. It doesn't really mean much of anything. But anyway, guys, that is it for the exclusives, and let me know what you think. And let me know also if you think that Konami are kind of being a bit stingy with regard to the exclusives that they release as of late. I obviously can't judge yet because they haven't been revealed. And if this Inferno monster, or if this, Mermail monster isn't broken as hell, or isn't really, really good, as something that we can actually use, because I found that Abyss Mander was sort of very situational and wasn't really main decked at all, then I'm going to be quite disappointed. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think that they're being a little bit stingy? They're not releasing the best exclusives anymore since the likes of Wind Up Rabbit or Evelzar Dalka was released. I keep going back to those two cards because they, for me, were really the best exclusives released in recent years. And if they don't start releasing cards just like those, or as good as those, then I'm going to continue to be, extremely disappointed in them. Anyway, guys, that is it for the video. I'll update you with more information as I get it. But for now, that is all we can go on. I'll be having another video up soon regarding the kind of what I feel the money cards will be in Cosmo Blazer, as well as a Haze Beast deck profile and a couple of other things. So keep an eye out for those. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.